Hey everybody, Steve Prisbrowski here. Welcome to tip number 46 in the series 101 Tips to Ace Your Promotional Exam. All right, my website, code3firetrain.com, has a free stuff link with tons of information on there to help you or anybody else that you're mentoring out there. So check it out if you haven't done so already. And this series is based on my latest book from Fire and Training Books and Videos, 101 Tips to Ace Your Promotional Exam, available in the links below. All right, tip 46. We've talked about a lot of tips, almost about halfway through this series right now. One of them, I think, most important tips that you can do is get involved at your, and I say your in uppercase, to be shouting at you. It's your fire department. And if you don't like your fire department, I hear so many people, my department sucks, or my leadership sucks, or I don't like it because of the pay. Then you know what? It's not your department. You're just someone that's collecting a paycheck and getting the benefits and getting something to put in your resume. Take ownership. You may not be able to change all the things such as pay, benefits, because of maybe whatever the structure is, your union agreement or association agreement, or the lack of finances, I don't know what, or politics, who knows. But take ownership and pride in what you can control. I remember the best advice I ever had when I was a firefighter from a retired firefighter was, he goes, you get promoted to captain, now you have your own 7-Eleven franchise. For those of you who don't know what a 7-Eleven is, because I know they're not everywhere, I guess, but 7-Eleven is like a little convenience store, maybe like a Circle K in some areas. Basically your local stop and rob, as they're called, at least in some places. But you have your own 7-Eleven franchise as a company officer. Now you become a battalion chief, you've got multiple 7-Eleven franchises. Take ownership of them. But back to this, get involved at your department, both on and off duty. I remember I was teaching a class a number of years ago at a conference, and someone raised their hand of because I was talking about promotional preparation, and I was telling people how to better prepare themselves for their promotion is to get involved. And this one individual raised his hand. He goes, well, a department can't require anyone off duty to get involved or even on duty. I go, no, I don't know of any department that can require you to technically on duty, they can almost require you to do anything, because that's what the duties as assigned says in your job description, as long as it's not illegal, unethical, immoral, unsafe, blah, blah. But get involved. And I know this individual is basically going, well, you shouldn't have to do things off duty just to get promoted. That shouldn't matter at all. Well, okay, we can all have our opinions, but to me, put yourself in the eyes of a rater, someone that's evaluating whether a candidate is ready for that next step. That rater is probably already served in the position you want, and they're probably supervising the position you want. So what does a rater look for in candidates? Someone that's low maintenance, someone they'd like to work with, work for, and have work for them. They want, people that are trainable, people with good positive attitudes, and people that get involved. Because if you're getting involved on and off the job, it's a good demonstration of your character. And there's many different things you can do. There's no right, there's no wrong. And again, I know we all have obligations, family obligations, maybe second jobs, third jobs, family members with health issues. I get it. Very few people are single and free with no cares in the world. God, I miss those days. Not complaining. But I don't care how old you are, how much experience you have, what your situation is. There's ways to get involved. If nothing else, when you're on the job for whatever, 56, 52, 48, whatever hours a week you work, get involved. There should be plenty of things that you can get involved with or look to get involved with to make things better. And I'll talk about some of those things, because getting involved, again, it's usually not a requirement, but it can maybe help separate you from somebody else, and I'll give some examples, like in my department and many other departments, there's committee involvement, safety committee, maybe a fitness committee, a training committee, operations committee. A lot of departments have a lot of committees, apparatus committees. Now, when I became a battalion chief, I had the budget, I had an improved budget to purchase new SCBAs. And we were going to do a wear test. We had like one brand for the longest time. And then it was time to, hey, you know what, you got money to, and I'm like, well, there's a couple of good brands out there, but let's invite like the top 4 manufacturers out to loan us their SCBAs. Then we'll do some field testing, wear testing. So I figured it'd be a great way to get a committee together. And it was one of the biggest committees that our department's ever had. I think it was like 30 people joined the SCBA committee. Well, it was a good lesson I learned. Now, part of the reason I think we had so many, I'm I'm not going to pat myself on the back for this one, because I think part of the reason we had so many people apply for the safety committee was because within a few months after that was the captain's test and the battalion chief's test. And it's sort of interesting in a coincidental way that when people know that sometimes a promotional exam's coming up and then a committee announcement comes out of, hey, anyone wants to step up to the committee, everybody wants to do that because they want to get something that they can put, on their resume. I want to separate myself. Well, there's nothing wrong with being on a committee to build your resume. I said it. However, don't be on a committee just to build your resume, because do it because you want to better the department and you have a passion on whatever the subject matter is, apparatus, SCBAs, equipment, health and fitness, safety, whatever it is. Do it because you want to, because here's what I found out, even though I had like 30 people in this committee, after this year-long evaluation process of evaluating all the SCBAs, having them do demonstrations, doing, our members picked who they wanted to go with. They're the end users. And it was amazing that of those 30 or so that started, there was really probably only about 12 that were hardcore dedicated people. People would not make meetings. I can't make it mandatory, but it's like, hey, we're having a meeting here, we're having a demonstration here. And again, it wasn't just me, but somebody was told me, hey, welcome to committee life. Because then as I was more involved with other committees, I realized that over the years that a lot of people will join a committee just to put on their resume. Well, if you're going to put your name in a committee to get involved and it's going on your resume because maybe you have a promotional exam or you want to get credit for it in some form or fashion, do your part. Show up to the meetings, volunteer for projects, get involved, because if you're just sort of doing it to check the box, nobody benefits. Your fellow firefighters and department members will see right through that bullshit. So do it because you want to. And if you are going to put your name in the hat, don't overextend yourself. Do your part. If everyone just did their part, it'd be great. But the sad part is, like I said, 30 started, and we had about 12 hardcore people that took the load of these other people. And it provided a lot of resentment from those hard workers going, what their name on they're getting credit. I'm taking the captain's test, so is he, but he's not doing jack shit. Well, yeah, and it's hard because and like I'd call some of these people, I was like, hey, we missed you last few meetings. You want to help out? Well, I'm busy. Hey, you're the one that signed up for the committee. I'm not saying what you are or not, but you signed up. So if you signed up, show up, get involved. And if you don't want to get involved or show up, just let me know. Hey, Steve, it's just not the right time. Perfect. Let me know that. But I shouldn't have to put you in a corner to get an answer out of you. You should be the first one that raises your hand to say, you know what, Chief, Steve, whoever, I've extended myself too far. I need to ratchet things back a little bit. And this is what I'm going to, focus my time and effort on. Be an adult, be a professional. That's all we ask, and give something back. Also, maybe if committees are not your gig, maybe there's a program or a project that you want to take ownership for. Now, here's the challenge though. There's always, everyone's got the bright, shiny object of, hey, we need to start this new program, a water rescue program. Well, depending what the project or program is, especially if it's from scratch, you can't just get there from, A to Z like that. You've got to, there's budgeting, there's buy-in from, union buy-in, sometimes command staff buy-in, and you need a lot of people to help see this through. And a lot of people complain about, well, I started this project and the department command staff didn't support it. Well, it's a two-way street. If you're the one that has this passion for, say, this water rescue program or this drone program or whatever program that maybe your department doesn't have, don't just think that, well, I'll tell the chiefs and then they're going to do all the hard work. Pretty much all your chiefs or anybody that works in an office in a 40-hour week, well, first of all, it ain't a 40-hour week. It's on paper 40 hours. It's in reality 50, 60 in most departments, if not more. If you're going to come up with this great project, and I'll say some of our best ideas, programs, projects have been coming from the ground up, from the boots on the ground, firefighters in the field. They're the ones that do the job every day. We're there to support them from the office. But anyway, some of the best ideas have come from the field. But the problem is, if you go into the training chief, for example, and say, hey, we need to buy this ventilation prop, there's a grant out there you can write to get it, so it will be a no-cost item. Well, don't expect the chief to do all your work. they're already busy doing their own stuff. So instead, you better be willing to be part of the solution, not just the problem. So be able to, hey, you know what, chief, if we can get a grant approval, and I say that because this happens, and I hear this happen a lot. Don't file for grants on your own without getting department or city approval, because if you don't get the city or department approval, it may not be able to be accepted. And then now you're pissed at the department or the city for not accepting it. Well, it's free money. Well, it ain't free money, trust me, because some of it's matching funds, and there's a whole lot of other issues that go along with that. Nothing is free in life. Someone's time is involved with it, not just now, but in the future. And sometimes what happens in 3 years from now, when that nice new piece of equipment is now outdated and we got to buy a new one, well, we'll just do another grant. Don't expect grants to solve your budgeting problems. So that's why you've got to have a long-term plan in place to own it. You have to take ownership of that program project and be able to, hey, when it's time to retire or you're bored with it, not just give up on it and say, hey, it's the chief's problem. No, find a replacement. And that's what some of the most strongest and best department programs have been. They've been started from the troops in the field, and they've been sustained by the troops in the field that have worked collaboratively with, between labor and management. Also some other options to get involved, supporting your union or association in whatever form or fashion you can. And like I said earlier, make sure you go all in and not just do it for the resume, because it shows. And those questions do come up, and your chief may be looking at who's involved. I mean, I've had chiefs ask me in the past, right during promotional exams, hey, all those people, because I oversaw the safety committee and the fitness committee as the training chief, hey, who are the movers and shakers? Who's the ones that are getting involved? And like any other committee, I don't care if there's 5 people in the committee or 105, there's always usually a small amount that are there all the time, show up. If they can't make a meeting, they'll be the first to say, hey, I'm sorry, I've got a family vacation, but I'll get the notes from somebody, or I'll check in with you later on. Hey, that's all we can ask. We don't expect 100% perfection, but communication is key. Take ownership. So the most successful people in life are usually those who are part of the solution, not the problem. Don't be a recliner sniper. I was guilty of that at one point. However, as always, thank you very much for the gift of your time. We're at the end of this one right here, but feel free to reach out to me, connect with me. If there's anything I can ever do for you, please don't hesitate to ask. That's what I'm here for. So, all right. Until the next one, everybody, y'all take care, be safe, and we'll see you soon.